Alright, I figure I'll post a response to my own video since nobody else is doing it. So anyway, I agree with myself completely on that first video on the everything, the description of our basic dilemma and where we are. But I figure I'll just do a little bit of detail about one part, because people talk about this hard problem of consciousness, like because we can't exactly explain what this awareness thing is, that somehow it's a mystery, like it's somehow we can't really contain it within any kind of paragraphs of understanding, concepts. And of course we can. We can understand where it came from. Obviously, 2 billion years or so in our evolution, some organism developed the first real nervous system kind of thing. They had a nerve, and it went from one point and it went to another point in their body. And when the nerve was triggered here, the message was sent to the other part and said, "Do this." Okay, and eventually, it seems quite sensible that would split, or that would 3 or 4 or 5 lines would be put in, and all of a sudden you'd have if questions. So if 2 of the certain things are hit, then the action has. So you'd have an if do kind of scenario, like in computer programming. So that's all a very digital nervous system. And then eventually what happened is somehow this thing folded on itself. It got into feedback loops, almost like, say, if I put my microphone next to my speaker and it gets into an endless loopy feedbacky thing and it makes a hysterical noise. And something like that happened in our nervous system, and it turned a digital signal, a yes or no signal, into an analog signal, into well, that's a level 2, or that's a level 3, or that's a level 4, in terms of the loudness or the aggressiveness or the unpleasantness of a sensation. So now all of a sudden organisms had a concept of desire. They had at least the roots of it, because something could make them feel good and something could make them feel bad. And by that good or bad feeling, they would learn, they could remember, they could store the information and say, this is a place I like being, or this is a place I don't like being. And they could recognize what they like and what they don't like. And they could do it even from the day they were born, like, say, a little turtle who never gets educated. He just falls into the world, and he has a little brain, and the brain basically tells what he senses. What if the water smells right and it smells good, he goes in that direction. If what he's doing feels good, he does more of it. And then that's but that's the nature of our. That's the root of our development. That's where we grew from, the seed we came from. And it's pretty easy to understand, and you can understand over billions of years. It would add, literally billions of new reflexes, new connections, new arrangements, scenarios. And so yeah, our senses connected to our brain can be quite elaborately nuanced in their reaction, and then through our years and decades of learning, we can acquire a really sophisticated symbolic representation of reality inside our little heads, and a whole psychology and deep emotions and powerful emotions and thoughts and all of that crap. But it's no mystery where it all came from. It's just a more elaborate version of a flatworm or a cockroach or any of the other little reproducing machines we see out there that have a little brain controlling them. And our controller, our brain, is become more sophisticated. We can learn more, and it's more elaborate and complex in how it's able to interact. But it's not a magic. I mean, we're not a magical step past the great ape, or a magical step past a wolf or some other relatively sensible animal. One who's got eyes and is pretty damn conscious and pretty aware. Sure, they might not know about their own mortality, and they might understand what the sky's made out of and all that stuff, but they're having an elaborate conscious experience, and they're dreaming, and they're doing a lot of the same things we're doing. So the fact that we're doing it a little better than they are, a little more accurately, is not magic. It's just part of the evolution. Obviously, it's something. It took us 10 or 15,000 years of civilization to really become good at this stuff, at this thinking thing, and this whole, even being able to identify ourselves as conscious, and all the rest of that nonsense. Yeah, we've done better to understand it. But if you take us back and go backward, you can see what we were too. We were just another animal scratching its ass in the woods. And so yeah, so we've risen above that, but it's not magic, and it's not. It's obviously not something that's happening for some reason. It's only happening because there's advantages to it, success advantages as an organism. I mean, obviously, if we can make ourselves a bazooka, then we're gonna beat the hell out of our competition. So come on, it's not that complicated. So get with the program. We're just another variation of a pretty insidious process that's going on in nature, which is just consumption and reproduction, merely because a single cell 4 billion years ago acquired the knack, and there's no way to stop it. And once that ball started rolling, there was no way to stop it, no way to contain it, no way to dictate how it would roll. It's just going to keep rolling. All right, but it's not magic, and it's not inspired, and it's not brilliant. It's a pretty, it's all it does is create an awful lot of vulnerability, and it's something that needs controlling, not something that needs liberating. And it's not something to be celebrated, it's something to be reasonably feared, because it has no compassion, it has no empathy, it has no concern for dignity or welfare. We're it. And if we're just going to sit back and keep waiting for the magic unicorn to fly by, then we're just wasting our intelligence. So anyway, just a little response to myself to encourage perhaps somebody else to engage in the conversation. That would be nice. But if it's just me, it's just me. It's okay. I can talk to myself. It's really okay. I mean, it's, whatever. Until next time.